All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Monster, episode 63. Okay, Peter Chapek was nearly shot and killed, but, but rest in peace, Milan.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, buddy.
And Anna saw what went down, or rather...
She saw Peter Chapek
Nina
specifically.
Saw what went down.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, and she recognized that's him.
So
from the Red Rose Mansion.
Cool. So that'll probably cause some stuff to happen this episode.
Yep.
And then there's whatever Tenma's gonna do, and then whatever the status of Ava is, because
she went to get a gun. Yeah. The big thing I'm still questioning is Franz Bonaparte is shrouded in mystery. He's this enigma of a character.
Right.
Will we ever get through maybe Anna, Nina,
like direct observation of him
for us as the audience being able to see what who he was, what he was like, and all that,
rather than just hearsay and
more just the talking about him,
or seeing him talk, maybe.
Sure. Tenma, what he's going to do in this whole situation now that he's kind of more aware of what's going on,
right?
That'll be kind of interesting.
And given that there was an attack made on Chapek, it'll probably be even harder for Tenma to do what he needs to do, not just emotionally, but also, physically, because the guard will probably be up to a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if there's also going to be any correlation to this meeting of high dignitaries and people that, the whole convention was, provided Milan the opportunity. If that has any tie-in to potentially their whole deal with,
their
trying
long-term
to
strategy,
Johan or something like that.
Yeah.
And then where is Johan in this whole thing?
Right.
Guys, Monster is crazy. We're headed towards the end. So, yeah. Anything else?
No. Maybe Lung would be nice.
Lung, yeah. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into it. That's a good point. Yeah. Just because there's so many important people there. Yeah.
いや、定年後まず行こうと思ってたのが歯医者なんだ。毎日忙しくて今まで行けなくてね。
Okay, Monster. What you got for us?
ダインハルト・ディンガー42歳、職業タクシー運転手。97年ビルカー投資銀行行員殺人事件。
That's quite the list.
ダインカ犯殺人。出なさい。
Now wait, are these?
よし、行こうか。
Yeah, wait. Is this correlating to the murders that Johan made back when he was at Dusseldorf?
I don't know.
いや、禁煙だぞ。
ああ。その道徳心でもって真っ当に生きてりゃな。
Because I think we're supposed to recognize this guy. He might be the...
Right, he looks kind of familiar.
Is he the hedge?
これが最後の仕事なんだ。お前がそういうささやかな他人の人生を壊しちまったことを悔いてほしいよ。
俺に唾を吐くような人間でもか。
まさかお前それだけで
人に唾を吐きかけるなんて人として最低だろ。
I mean, one might say that killing someone is a bit lower than that, but
もっと最悪だ。俺の車の後部座席で本番始めやがった。だから二人とも殺した。
Okay, no, I think this is a new
汚い言葉を吐き続ける主の若造。奴らみんなクズだ。だから殺した。
Wow.
ビルカー投資銀行の銀行員殺しはどうなんだ？彼のどこがクズなんだ？勤勉な仕事ぶり、誠実な人間関係。
あれは
someone asked me
後味
to.
悪かったな。あれは仕方なくね。
誰かに頼まれたのか？
それは言えないな。
So, yes.
二度と俺の前でタバコを加えるな。殺すぞ。
Okay.
何がお前をそうさせちまったんだろうな。
俺はもともと正しい考えの持ち主さ。
Sure.
ただそれをちょっと後押ししてもらっただけさ。あの日、男が公園で犬を散歩させてた。犬がクソをしただけで、その男は犬を蹴りつけた。 俺は男を止めた。
Okay. Wow.
気がつくと俺は警察に取り押さえられていた。そこへ一人の男の子が現れた。
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
その子は警官に
Oh my gosh.
その人は
Oh.
まあしょうがないってことで二人を俺のアパートまで連れて行ってね。あの夜飯を食った後ニュースを見てた。いつもの独り言のように俺は悪態をついた。クズは死ねってな。そしたら男の子は何と言ったと思う？
そんな人たちいらないよ、いらないよ、いらないよ。
Wow.
俺はその時解放されたんだ。
Well.
Okay.
All right. That was.
Yeah.
That
お疲れ
was.
様です、警部。
That was properly creepy.
最後の仕事も
Dang.
無事終わりましたね。まあ未解決の事件もあったけど。どうしたんです？
That Johan sound.
妹まで連れてきた。
あの晩のこと思い出せないかな。
No way.
何でもいいんだ。
No way.
何でも。
Whoa.
君の名前は
Holy
Wow.
crap. Holy crap.
そうだね。
どこにもいないんです。
You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
その子供たちにいつ会ったかって？そうだな、11年ぐらい前かな。そりゃ綺麗な顔のブロンドの双子さ。
Oh boy.
No longer going to retire.
All
Like
right.
吸血鬼か。君は血を吸わなければ生きていけない。
Just
しかも
killing.
処女のな。なる
Yeah.
ほど。
Okay.
3ヶ月前の件、フランクフルトの雑貨店の娘、フリーダ・シェリング。彼女の血も吸ったのかい？いや、確かにね。君の言う通り、これまでの君の相手は少女ばかりだ。ところが、このフリーダ・シェリング、年齢は21歳。しかし問題はそんなことじゃない。彼女、フランクフルトのザイラー通りのカフェで16の時から働いていた。17の時子供を産んでるんだ。知ってたんだろ？その他の件ではあれほど少女たちの調査をして
So
いた
why
君が
this one?
Right.
処女の血でなくても吸うのかい？
Oh.
あれは後味悪かった。
Whoa. Oh my
なぜ彼女
gosh.
を狙った？
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
本物にあったんだ。
本物？
まだ吸血鬼を取り巻くコウモリ程度でしかない。
誰なんだ？どこで出会った？
グリースハイム。そこにどこにでもあるような公園がある。その公園の砂場に彼は木の枝で女の名前を書いた。
All right. I mean, he is
考えても
pale.
変だろ。ニーダーザク選手でだけ指令を受けていたはずなのに、なぜこの一件だけフランクフルトまで出向いたんだい？これも宇宙人からの更新かい？宇宙人は急に気が変わってフランクフルトまで行って人を殺せと更新したのかい？クレンペラー氏の経歴もなかなかのくせ者だからね。
These are all people that
東西冷戦時
Johan
に東ベ
basically
ルリンから
orchestrated to
亡
have
命。
killed.
こ
Right.
こ数年は食品貿易の仕事もうまくいっていたようだ。ただし彼には東から西へ養子の斡旋をしていたという噂が、まあ、
the
早
guy
く
that
言えば
obviously
子供のいない
smuggled
西の金持ち相手に東の子供
Johan
を売りつけていたんだ。
更新じゃないんだ。直接会ったんだよ。
Oh, you met an alien in person. That's how I would describe Johan too.
本当に
Sure.
宇宙人が目の前に立っていたんだ。
UFO はどこに着陸したんだい？
グリースハイムの公園だよ。
Whoa.
Okay.
The
彼
same
の言葉は
place.
宇宙の言葉だ。だから僕に分かりやすいように砂場に文字を書いた。
Oh my god, I got chills.
All right.
I got chills, bro.
All right.
That's Gillen. Okay.
あの男は
ああ、ドクター・ギーレン、
Uh-huh.
犯罪心理学者だそうです。例の連続殺人のタクシードライバー、ディガーに面会に来たそうです。
取り調べで何度も話してるが、俺が殺した連中はいらない連中なんだよ。
ことビルカー投資銀行のオーペルト氏殺害に関しては歯切れが悪いようだね。
Is it too
他の
overt
殺
for
人に関しては君なりの正当性を述べた供述が記録されている。だがオーベルト氏の殺害だけ明確な理由を一言も述べていないんだよ。
どうでした、ドクター・ギーレン。
これまでの調書の枠を出ませんね。
They both know things.
I know.
Okay.
Good, good.
男からどうしても聞き出したいことがあるんですよ。
Classic, facing the opposite direction.
怪物のような子供がいて、それが成長して子供の頃世話になった弟のもとへやってきて、まあ子供向けな話なんだ
Silly story, of course.
He's like, tell me
詳しく
everything.
聞かせてください。その話。
ビルカー投資銀行のフリッツ・オーベルト氏殺害は誰かの依頼でやったんじゃないのか。
彼はある財閥の収賄スキャンダルを告発しようとしていた。彼をクズというなら君の犯罪の正当性は崩壊するぞ。
He's sealed up.
依頼なんかされてないさ。彼と俺の間に言葉なんかいらない。
Whoa.
Okay.
きっとあの銀行員は彼にとってはクズだったんだ。俺はそう信じるね。
その彼とはいつどこで会った？
グリースハイム。
There it is.
そ
Yeah,
の町
in the
のある
park.
公園。彼は砂場の砂に名前を書いた。彼は何も言わなかった。だが俺には分かった。この名前の男を殺せってことだ。
This is so
言葉な
good.
んかいらないんだ。分かるんだよ俺たちは。こんなやついらないってことがな。
Okay.
あんたが面会した3人が同じ依頼者によって殺人を犯してるって。
And I know who it
全
is.
く無関係の連続殺人に組み込ませることで3件の殺人が意味をなさないようにした。ヨハン。
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
フランクフルトで奴が何かを始めようとしている。
Okay.
All right. Wow. Wow.
That yeah. That was a thing.
Uh-huh.
All right. So
Weissbach is from the beginning of the show.
very beginning.
I was like, wait a minute.
Like,
wait a
that's-
minute.
oh, man.
And then,
Wow.
oh my God. So like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why he used the one guy who they introduced first was because Johan had dealings with him in the past and knew that he had been set free from his
Right.
limitations in
There are no
deciding
strings on me.
who will be killed and just remain as trash in his book. So crazy stuff, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Johan is in Frankfurt probably right now.
Right,
That is where Tenma
And
Anna
Anna
are headed.
right. Uh-huh.
Or at least I
No, I
believe
think
that's
that's where
where
they
they
are
are
now.
right
Yeah,
now.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So Johan is there probably because this is, like we said, a convergence of a whole lot of important people.
Right.
It to him and to the world in general.
Right.
And he's about to do something crazy.
Yep. But what is the thing? Like,
What indeed?
we really have no way of knowing. And
Like, I'm sure there are clues out there, but like I can't tell what's red herring and what is
Right,
correlated to things that are just done and basically forgotten in, as far as plot advancement.
Right.
And I think that right about now the main question we have is this at all tied to any of the plans that Johan has previously been shown to be working towards that are, I would say, kind of up in the air? Because the main ones that we tend to fall back on is that Johan is clearing away his tethers.
Right.
Basically everything to his past, everything that connects him basically to this world in general. And that fits a lot of ways with a couple of the things that people have theorized or said that he plans to do is, be the last person alive on this world, or, just things like that. And we have a lot of, instances that show him having this park be his kind of his meeting point to kill people and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's almost getting like freaking mystical, dude. It's like he's got this like dark hold over this environment, because why did they go there?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did they go there at all?
Was it
it's
something...
not like he's calling them and meeting them there,
right? Like maybe it was something that he set up where he basically said, where when he first met them, he suggested that they all congregate at this park, and go there every so often. Maybe. That way he could just go there when he needed them and then just write a name in the dirt, and that was it.
I mean, that'd be crazy if it was.
Like,
I mean,
that's
it's
absolutely ridiculous.
It's effective. It's something no one would really question, because you'd think, oh, just kids operate there. And this is the other thing that's really creepy about it. Johan is a character that is more presence than person, if that makes sense,
Sure.
So when we're seeing the presence actively doing things that are very clearly a piece of puzzles, he's arranging puzzle pieces, we're like, okay, what's the picture? What's the picture on the puzzle? What's this going to reveal here? So much of his motivation more recently has seemed to be something that has to connect back in some ways to his origins. Red Rose Mansion, Franz Bonaparte, Anna, all that kind of package here. Now we have this group of, important, wealthy people who, at least one of them, Peter Chapek, is responsible in a lot of ways for the formation of them as who they are.
It feels very similar to Munich as far as the setup for everything, which is like, okay, so Johan basically... He dealt with and addressed all the stuff of his past, and whatnot, and now he's moving back onto his original goal, I guess.
I don't
or
think
something
so.
something similar where it's okay, a mass amounts of power, and it'll probably be different because it would be, why have it be exactly the same kind of a thing? But yeah, I don't know.
I'm more worried about a mass killing than a mass kind of
deception.
Well, no, not a mass deception. You were talking about how he's trying to grab power, and I was like, no. I think if anything,
he's just wanting to destroy.
Well, I think he might kill a whole bunch of people in one fell swoop to maybe mask a couple of killings that he really wants.
Sure, yeah.
That seems to be what he did here with the serial killers, which is insidiously genius to basically have these people that he knows are serial killers
or potential serial killers that he sets up to become serial killers,
and then save them as a young child,
and then just save them for later, like because the idea that he would instigate some aspect of them that like he's laying the groundwork for covering up the killings that he will end up wanting to have happen, right? By having some serial killer that does stuff, right? And then he's like, okay, and then later, if I need people killed, I'll have them do it. And because they're serial killers, it will, just get sort of swept under.
Yeah. Which is crazy that they basically were like, okay, so you remember that cop from the very beginning that was investigating the whole Liebert's, murder situation and the twins being brought to the hospital and kind of talking to them and stuff? Yeah, we're going to bring him back right before he retires because something about the way that whole thing was set up after a routine interrogation just kind of, caught his attention. And then he bumps into Gillen, and Gillen has been dutifully just going at it, taking notes, compiling everything. He's going to save Tenma. Like he is going to be that ace in the hole that is going to account for basically everything that corroborates Tenma's story.
And the thing is that given that they have this kind of information and stuff, because now we have someone in the police department who is aware that Johan exists and that Johan helped instigate a lot of killings, basically. And the idea then that Tenma had a testimony that it was all someone named Johan and stuff, that it connects the pieces of the puzzle. Now, Tenma's done plenty of stuff to incriminate himself that he's actually done
he
since
might do something very specific here.
Right, yeah, because he is on a mission to kill.
And did you notice the connection with the guy basically calling people trash? And having his murder justified because we don't need people like that in the world.
And that's exactly what Tenma said.
It's exactly what Tenma's basically doing.
To Johan,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he's not calling him trash. He's basically saying you should not exist in this world.
It's the whole thing of who can decide. But then also, if you think about the timing of it, the fact that he ended up adopting that mantra from Johan, probably, even though it was something that was already inside him, but Johan probably exacerbated it and brought it to fruition. And that is right after Johan heard from Tenma when he was talking about the other doctors and saying those people don't deserve, like, they shouldn't be alive. You know, they're like,
whoa,
he basically said the mantra that Johan ended up giving to this guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, that's
you're
pretty
right.
crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Impressionable kids.
No wonder he sees Tenma as his dad, you know.
Right.
Like
yeah.
kind of his, hey, you gave me new life, new
Yep,
purpose.
exactly, yeah.
Because when he meets him, when he's got the whole Yonkers, you know, thing in the parking garage, it's like,
yep.
Oh. Yeah.
Right. And this was like, we already knew that was a thing for Johan, but this extra bit is just additional fuel on the fire to make it really feel believable, because it basically gives more logic and consistency to that notion for Johan, so that it's not something that we could just dismiss as, oh, Johan's just a psycho or something, you know.
Right.
But wow. And we still, there's only 11 episodes left now, and we still haven't gotten back to, like, you know, the stuff with Tenma, the stuff with Ava or Lung. Yeah. Like, that was a great prediction that Lung, that would be how they would bring Lung back. But
instead
then
they brought back they brought back a cop. It's just he was staring right in front of me already, you know, brought back basically.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just say, like, it's really cool that they can do that, but I hope no one's upset that we didn't pick it up right away immediately.
I think that was very much intentional, because, like, okay, Monster, like, the character designs can look similar at times.
Similar,
and given that it was 60 episodes ago,
right? But I think we were supposed to maybe remember the name Weissbach, because that is a pretty unique name.
Well, and we did kind of remember it. It was like well, because, you know, you had the whole thing of, like, wait, we've seen this guy before, haven't we?
I actually was thinking about the murderer, not the cop.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
The murderer seemed familiar.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of too. But then for some reason during the reaction, I thought you were talking about the cop.
No, if anything, the cop seemed like, nah. You know, kind of like I thought about it for a second. I was like, nah, I don't recognize him.
But
that was 60.
But yeah, the murderer, like, I think it's the hairstyle that the murderer had.
The hairstyle, he's blonde. It's just something where this show is actually, I would say, rather realistic in its character designs.
Yep. And because of that, it can be hard to tell them apart, because it's an animated series.
Yep.
Because dang it, they're not color coordinated. Right. We don't have, you know, that's the pink one, that's the blue one, that's the purple one, you know.
No, I love it. Having this whole thing tie back to Johan and Anna's escape from the hospital, and being that they found, you know, a guy who basically Johan probably smelled something on him, was like, oh, this one.
Probably when he started beating the crap out of the other guy.
Well, that's probably it. But that meant they were hiding in the park.
Sure.
Remember, they were hiding somewhere. And they probably didn't have access to, you know, a place to live or something. So they're probably hiding under park benches or in bushes or something.
Sure.
And then they see, you know, this guy go out there. And I think Johan might have actually, like, been tailing people in general throughout the park. And just being like, who gives off the vibe that I can manipulate them? And then this one, he's like, oh, yeah, this is perfect.
Sure.
I got this.
Yeah.
And I got... just one last thing. I gotta say... Just knowing that that's how it went down, and that was probably someone that in some ways saved them, like as twins, like saved the twins. Even though Johan manipulated the whole thing and all that, it showcases how protective, I would say, Johan is of Anna.
Yes.
In that even at this stage, he wasn't thinking like, I need to set her up in a place where she can be safe. It's I will do whatever it takes to, you know, make sure that, that she's going to be okay.
And there's
the reason why I maybe might have recognized the murderer. Sorry, my last thing there is that was when they were investigating basically the people, the parents. Remember the people that would like adopt them and die and stuff like that. Did this guy ever get like looked at as being one of the people that had potentially killed them?
No idea.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. There's, on the whole topic of the first guy, though, there's a part of me that wonders if Johan helped set up the guy kicking the dog and stuff. Because I could totally see that happening, where he sees this guy that has a dog, and he's like, oh, that guy seems like he's been having a rough day. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna feed into that a little bit. He's like, because that dog will probably end up doing something that'll piss him off, and then I just have to maybe coordinate things so that he's in the same area as this other guy that I see as being a potential crazy murderer. Like, and the thing is, that could totally not be the case.
In any other story, Jacob, I would immediately say that's stupid. Right. But because this is Johan we're
it's
talking
just a
about,
coincidence. But the thing is that there are no coincidences, only the illusion of coincidences. So it just makes you wonder. It makes you wonder.
Why do you think Johan is killing these people?
There are obstacles in some way, whether they know about him or it's things that they're preventing what he wants to have happen.
Okay, because I have 3 theories here. First theory.
Okay.
They each of themselves are basically they have something that Johan needs, essentially.
Sure, like the whole thing of the investigating into some kind of financial thing, and
the financial scandal guy, and basically
right.
This person has basically the ability to thwart Johan's plan, so he removes him. But then we have a guy who sucks the blood out of virgin girls,
right,
attack a cafe girl,
who's you're right, and she was like 21 or something, and she had a kid and stuff, and it's like, what?
Wait a minute,
why would that mean anything for Johan?
So 4 years ago, if we assume the murder was done recently,
4 years ago she had a kid.
We don't know anyone who that could be in terms of the kid.
Like, I don't think they would go for the angle of that it's Johan's child or something, unless maybe Johan wants to basically, like, okay, if you think about it in a particular way, one way that you could see it potentially happening, although that would be whack for Johan, because why would he need a biological kid, is that he's wanting to make another version of him, right, to basically be the next generation.
So he needs to orphan them, basically,
kind of.
So here's my thing. My second theory is that they're all actually completely separate plans. All of them correlate to completely different things. First one is the obvious one, the person who helps kids across the border. This is tying back to him trying to disappear, and it's someone that helped them cross the border in the past, and he's just killing them off. He's like, cool, I got rid of them. Yep. Awesome. The
financial
mother,
thing,
the mother, or the cafe young girl, she's someone that knew Johan as well. Maybe Johan was the father of the child, killing him off. It's something like you're talking about, and then the financial scandal thing is something regarding Johan's money,
right? The dealings with all the powerful people, in
all
Frankfurt,
all that stuff for sure. But here's the other thing: they are actually innocuous. The other theory is that they actually all are dominoes. And when this person dies, it triggers a thing over here, which triggers a thing over here, which triggers a thing over here, which all cascades into one big domino.
Maybe the mother is actually like the daughter of someone really important.
Sure.
Although no, her parents have the store. So,
but that's the thing is that all these theories work in some way, and they also don't work probably in some way. So it's just not, like, what is?
So it's not Johan. Pretty sure, anyways. Well, actually, maybe that would be crazy if it was. So they mentioned that the father of the child was from a wealthy family and gave a lot of money to the parents, and then they ended up using that to get the store.
Right.
So it could be that's like, if it could be absolutely nothing, and that would be an explanation for why it's not Johan and all that stuff, because they said
but
who it
Johan
actually was
wealthy back in.
But he was wealthy. He had the whole bank thing. What if the store is basically his base of operations? He's already hollowed out the parents, right?
Sure.
And killed the daughter and everything. So maybe he becomes Anna and then he just inserts himself into that position with the child and the parents and everything.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, cool, this is where I'm operating from. I've got this stuff. If I need to have whatever I need to have happen, where I need like a place to hide bodies or something, I don't know, I can just have them be stashed away in here in a freezer until I leave and go somewhere else.
More easy to manipulate by having their daughter be dead or something.
Yeah. Well, and he could potentially just with his disguise abilities, especially if she looked similar to Anna or something like that, he could just become
They showed a picture
the
of
daughter.
her. They showed a picture of her in the episode.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and I don't think she looked like.
Gotcha.
She looked like Anna.
But
I don't think so.
But yeah, anyways,
I love that idea though.
Like because
I love that idea.
Like because when I think about what would be the most whack thing they could possibly do, because the finance person, it's obvious, right? They
had knowledge,
right? Exactly. The person helping people cross the border, yep, it's just erasing someone from the past. The young mother does not make sense.
It doesn't.
It does not make sense. And if they were wanting to have it be the craziest thing possible, that's what I would basically see it being.
Yeah. I could see, here's something that I could see being some mental issues that Johan goes through, is one, that he doesn't understand healthy relationships,
Sure.
Like he just doesn't understand the idea of, love or something like that.
Okay.
Like he's just so traumatized and so broken inside. That's something he
and so
understand.
Fixated on controlling that.
Right. But I also think it would be a very cruel twist to basically just showcase that at some point he had physical needs, and he basically was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this girl to satiate my physical desires, so there you go. And I just killed her because I was done with her recently.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. And she knew about me. She had seen my face and all that stuff.
Yeah. So she's a loose end. I have to kill her off eventually.
And the thing that would just be so crazy though is if the kid is Johan's.
That would be. Yeah.
And then because then they could have Johan be defeated, locked in prison, killed, whatever. But then there's the question of what do we do with the spawn of the devil? Right. Basically, the idea that this show could end, and then they pan over to this house, this an orphanage. And then you see a kid basically like playing with toys. Yep. And it's like there's this toy like little guy. Plays it. And he like takes the head of the guy and he just rips it off. Yeah, yeah. And then he looks at the camera and smiles. Yeah. Like that would send such chills because the thing down to my spine. Okay. It sounds stupid, I think, actually, the more I say it. But the thing is, even if it's not that specifically. Right. The kid is 4 years old right now. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah. All right. Kids are very impressionable, right? What's the statistic of like 98% of kids under the age of 1 or 2 or something like that test in the super genius level for divergent thinking, right? If Johan had like a kid like from since it was a baby, I'm sure he could do a ton by the time it was 4 years old. Like, especially considering that all the stuff that happened with Franz Bonaparte and stuff was when they were like 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, he could do a ton. He could set it up, right? And then even if he dies or whatever, right? I think still out there. Yeah, I think that it's a cool theory. I think we're a little bit too fixated on it. Oh, sure. Yeah. That detail in this episode was so specific. It's like I want to add and here's the other thing. I think actually Johan is probably the kind of person, and this is something that I think could be a really cool way to give some sympathy for the devil, basically. Okay. Is that he would never want to create another one himself. He would never want to. And this is the reason why, is that I think he has enough memory regained of the whole incident and stuff like that he cares about Anna's like safety. Like he will not kill Anna. Like maybe he could offer her to be like, would you like me to kill you? So that you we can die together. Yes. So that you don't have to deal with all this pain in his life. Exactly. Now, if I assume that he cares about Anna, right? I don't think he would bring a child into this world of his own accord and let it live. Now, I know that's really dark and disturbing, but I think that if this was a woman that he had sex with and got her pregnant and killed her because she knows who he is, like that's the reasoning why. I think that he would kill the child because the reasoning why is that
he wouldn't want someone to basically become him. I don't think he's
Possibly,
got the. I don't think he has
okay.
the ego of the organization, the fascist organizations that are trying to control him and stuff.
I totally get that, and that would be a really interesting thing to do with Johan. The thing that makes me question that so strongly is what we saw of him in Munich, where he literally had just a group of kids around him, and he didn't seem to be very intentionally like trying to, you know, mold them or whatever.
No.
But that, like, from what we saw anyways, but
Right.
the concept of that question was very much strongly presented.
Yes.
So,
yes,
I would not put it past him.
I would not put it past him at all. I would say that as we get closer and closer to the end, I want to see Johan solidify into whether or not he is caring, I would say, more about I would say things on a personal level or an impersonal level, because I'm sensing that he actually no, it's more clear actually the more you look back, is that it was impersonal. So much of this was impersonal. He cared about Anna, but Anna was basically, you know, in her own space or what have you. She had that whole thing there. Once he remembered the monster book and everything changed. I think that's when basically he realized maybe how broken and how hurt and how just destroyed he was inside. So he's like, I am going to go and clean up everything.
Okay.
I'm going to go and do that. And this is basically just a finalization of that cleanup process.
Sure.
Chapek is alive. Chapek has to die by Johan's
has an
hands.
entire organization that he has basically brought up to propagate the existence of people who know about Johan's existence.
Right. And Johan can't have that.
Right.
So they all gonna die.
Right.
And that is about as impersonal as it gets for Johan, but I think everything else is a very personal motivated thing. It's specifically with him, and I think specifically with his sister.
The ending, though, if they wanted to have the ending be panning and showing the kid, you know, whether it's showing the kid like somewhere else or Tenma holding this child and thinking, what am I going to do? You know, that would be so juicy. They don't have to do that, but they totally could.
Okay.
And then in that sense, Johan would be, you know, immortal in that sense, because the fear of Johan, you know, he wouldn't have ended with Johan, right?
Sure, but I think that this show is going to have more or less a gray ending with a side of happy. Sure. I think that the happy part, if they go with the whole kid thing, will actually be that Johan will, in some ways, maybe, ask Tenma to raise him.
That's one of the things I was thinking about.
Be like, hey, like, I mean, I'm
whether
using
by Johan's
request
here, or by Tenma's decision, you know,
and basically be like, give an address, and the address is an orphanage, and he goes to this orphanage, and there's a kid that looks exactly like Johan from when he was 5 years old or 6 years old at the hospital, and he just looks at him and goes, hi, you know, and it's just like, he's innocent, like, and Johan's like, I mean, Tenma's like, and then he's just like, and then he talks to the people there, and he's like, I would like to adopt this child. And they're like, okay, here's the paperwork.
That was
going to be, and they just end with him basically signing his name that he's going to do it, and then you just end the show. Like, there's a lot of ways I think they can end this. I think a lot of this, though, the more and more I think we come closer and closer to the end, and we realize that Johan still has a grand plan. He's working with things, and I'd say he's trying to clear up everything in the past, tying him to, you know, the whole Red Rose Mansion thing. I mean, sure. But I think that Anna is his kryptonite. I said this back at like the very beginning of the show.
And I think the show stated that too. Like,
I don't remember when that was, but I mean, they probably said it in other terms, but yes.
Yeah, not actual kryptonite, but like, that she was his weakness or something.
She was his weakness, yeah. And I think that what it'll be is that she's a part of his past. She's a part of his present. But I don't think he wants her to be a part of his future. Okay. Does that mean he kills her? Does that mean he offers her a way out? Does that mean he removes himself from the equation so that she has a way out? Sure. Like, there's a lot of ways that can go. I want that conversation to happen. And now they have basically almost guaranteed that conversation not necessarily has to happen, but the conversation won't be threatened by the people in the organization.
Right, yeah.
Johan has a
will
plan.
Take care of that.
Johan has a plan.
Right.
And it's going to happen.
Right. And I can't wait to see what it is and how that affects things and whatnot. Yeah. If
Lung
we
was
did
not-
just crack the code, though, on how it's going to end with the whole idea of there
the
being
kid.
a baby and it's Johan's and stuff and all that, like, you heard it here first.
I mean, I gotta say, like, it's a fun scenario.
It's far-reaching, right?
But it's a bit.
Oh yeah, it's
a bit much.
It's a bit much. The only reason why I'm even considering it is the idea of why did they introduce this? Because it's the one thing that doesn't seem to make sense.
I would say the reason why it doesn't make sense is because it is, like, indirectly to, like, the Johannth degree connected to his plan.
Right. And
so it makes sense when we look at it from the Johan perspective.
They gave so much detail. They did the whole thing about the rich kid and the money and all that stuff and the child and everything. And, like, and granted, there was the whole thing of the fact that the vampire only killed virgins, so there was a point to bring it up. Well, is that maybe just the perfect cover so that we don't look at that information too closely, even though it's actually going to end up being very relevant later?
I think that Monster gives details intentionally because the details matter. Monster is a story so far that uses the plot it delivers, basically.
Right, like even down to Weissbach. Like
even down to characters that are, the most tertiary of characters. You know, just absolutely, seemingly not relevant to the grand overall plot. But surprise! Johan hasn't killed them yet, so they're relevant.
That's right.
At least in some way, maybe not plot-wise, but thematically at least. So, Gillen was a cool substitute for the Lung, which I was most excited to potentially see here, but no Lung yet.
No Ava yet.
Gillen was fantastic. It's cool that a character that has such a deep friendship connection to Tenma is actually, like, working really well and really hard on making sure that he can clear his name. Like, he's living up to the promise he made some 20-something, 25, 30 episodes ago. Like, that was pre-Munich fire, right? When he made that promise.
Oh, dang.
It was at the train station, if I remember correctly. And it was when
the cops
were
buses
trying to,
and everything.
And all the cops were trying to organize a trap for Tenma and Gillen.
Yeah, that might have been before Munich. Yeah,
it might have been. So that was a while ago, and he's been working nonstop since then. It's just good to see because it gives me hope for a happy ending for this show for Tenma.
Right.
Now Tenma might still end up killing Johan.
Right, and then that's
but I'd say the other happy ending with this whole thing is the, like, Johan killing himself, basically him saying, "You don't have to do this, Tenma." Like, like I understand the journey you've gone through, but
hey, no one will ever believe you.
I mean, that would be evil. That would be like that. I would almost call that petty of Johan,
like, unless it's the whole thing of, like, he wants to erase his existence
and become a god, basically.
Well,
like, basically,
and there you go. He did it. He won.
Yeah, but that's something that I would say it would be better to have Tenma kill him and Johan still win then.
Sure.
That would make it just that slight bit juicier.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So y'all,
see.
Monster. It's a crazy show. It's just getting crazier and crazier.
Oh boy.
Looking forward to all the characters converging in Frankfurt, because that does seem like what's going to happen here. But we do have 11 episodes left, and 11 is a lot.
Depending on what perspective you take, it's either a lot or a very little. So it's a lot in terms of, I'd say, reveals and of specific big things that can happen. But as of actual, like, ground covered, it might end up being actually quite a small amount in retrospect. So y'all, if you want to see the next episode's reaction to this incredible show, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories or just hang out in general and chat about whatever. Oh, also, sorry, full-length reactions are also available on Patreon. Yes,
I forgot to mention that as well.
Yes.
But yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.